The following season, Wills became the first company to back the game in every state capital and in Newcastle. 4 years later, they assisted in the visit of Everton to this country. In 1965, it was the famed Russian team Torpedo Moscow. Continuing with their policy in 1966, Wills support the first Italian team to tour Australia. The celebrated AS Roma party comprises 16 players, a masseur and 3 officials. On the Ansett A&A flight to Melbourne, they sample warm Australian hospitality. Vice President of the Australian Soccer Federation, Jim Bayuti at right, with Roma Tour Director Cavaliere Vincenzo Bianconi. Former international goalkeeper and coach of the Romans, Guido Massetti, is the bearer of acceptable gifts for the whole group. The Roma Sporting Association, of which the soccer club is a major part, was founded in 1927. Since that time, they've been competing in the National League, winning the Italian Championship in 1942, the Intercities Fairs Cup in 1960-61, and the 1964 Italian Cup. This season, they inflicted a 2-0 defeat on world-famous Inter Milan, defenders of the European Cup. A sincere, exciting welcome awaits them at Essendon Airport. For team captain Giacomo Losi, there's a beautiful bouquet and a smile to match. Soccer lovers throughout the state eagerly await the Romans' clash with the formidable Victorian side following their impressive 4-2 defeat of the League 11 in their opening tour match before an all-time record crowd of almost 36,000 at Melbourne's Olympic Park. The cyclonic-like rain fails to dampen the enthusiasm of supporters who again turn out in thousands. They are not to be disappointed. The red-shirted Romans kick off, attacking through right-winger Lamberto Leonardi. But Victoria soon lay the foundations of what is to prove a most effective defense. Losi combines with Leonardi, and Roma's polished teamwork often proves troublesome to Victoria's backs, who are forced into desperate saving measures. Leonardi's pace and constructiveness is a constant menace, but far from being overawed, Victoria's speed to the ball often snaps the initiative away from the tourists. World Cup player McMeekan feeds Kowalik, whose skillful ball control harasses the opposition. Kowalik breaks through Losi, but his shot is wide. Launching counter-attacks, Roma efficiently handle the slippery conditions, giving Leonardi ample scope. With the fence-splitting passes, he finds Spagno and is positioned for the return. His shot is headed away by the reliable Rice in a tense, evenly fought struggle. It's 0-0 at half-time. Spectator spirits are far from dampened during the continuous rain. On the resumption, Victoria open up with speedy raids, hoping to bustle their rivals. Cudicini fumbles, but covers the ball as the Romans hold off consistent attacks. Keeper John Young saves comfortably, his clearance regaining the initiative for Victoria. Inaccurate passing is costly as Roma capture possession from Ardazon's throw-in. Campanese beats Anderson and Shepherd before centering. The capable defence clears the danger area to spark off a movement. It's short-lived as Roma lift the tempo of their play, driving deep into opposition territory with precision passing. Francesconi shoots. It's a goal, the only one to be scored in the rugged but cleanly played match won by Roma 1-0. Melbourne Cricket Ground, with St Kilda in striped jerseys, opposed to Richmond in a vital round of the Australian football competition. Guests of the Victorian Football League, the Romans are puzzled. They've never seen anything like it before. However, the VFL provides each of them with a booklet in Italian explaining various points about the code. Leonardi seems to be getting the hang of it, but he's the only one at the moment. As the tough encounter approaches its climax, the visitors are caught up in the gripping atmosphere. Richmond are going well, and the Romans cheer them on as if Italy were battling out the World Cup final. The undefeated Saints are hot favourites, but third-placed Richmond are gradually getting on top. Powerhouse rover Frank Di Mattina, Richmond's second leading goal kicker, keeps his side in the game. In 94 previous meetings between the teams, Richmond have won 61 times to their opponents' 33. And today they add another victory to the delight of their Roman followers. Back to Sydney and the bus trip to Newcastle for the game against northern New South Wales. The 104 miles journey via the glorious Hawkesbury River provides camera enthusiasts with a photographic feast. Nowhere in the world are so many beaches in such close proximity to the city as at Newcastle. Discovered in 1797, Newcastle boasts a population of about 150,000 and has one of the best natural supplies of coal in the world. Monuments paying mute tribute to the great industry. Surfing may be out of season, but the city's 8 beaches retain their fascinating beauty. A busy commercial centre undergoing a huge expansion programme, Newcastle has been aptly called the City of Enterprise. At Newcastle Sports Ground, youthful autograph hunters are out in force, Peruvian Victor Benitez being a favourite subject. Losi wins the toss from Northern captain coach Ray Lloyd. Containing a blending of youth and experience, Northern hammer the renowned defence of their rivals in the early stages. Accepting the challenge, Roma strike back. Enzo cleverly beats Wright and Garrett, but his shot is too high. Keeper Jim Dorman drives the ball deep, attempting to give Northern an attacking chance. Thomason battles Lloyd for possession, stealing the ball as Roma pours on pressure. Francesconi goaling from long range. Attempting to capitalise on their advantage, Roma penetrate only to meet intelligent defence that causes the breakdown of many dangerous raids. Northern counters, wrong-footing the Romans, and they're out of position as 1956 Olympic representative Bruce Morrow fires in the equaliser. The big crowd sees Roma holding a territorial advantage in the second half as they consistently pound Northern stronghold. Within shooting range, Roma hammer away, Benitez being a constant threat. scoring 3 goals in his 45 minutes on the field, the Peruvian stars in Roma's 4-1 win. Acclaimed on and off the field during their 6 weeks tour, the Romans' pleasant demeanour and friendly attitude at all times is appreciated by everyone with whom they come in contact. The post-match reception at Newcastle typifies their popularity. Winner of 11 full international caps and fullback for Italy in the 1962 World Cup finals against Chile, Giacomo Losi, Roma's accomplished captain, comes in for special attention. On to Brisbane, capital of Australia's sunny state. Turning on some of its traditional winter warmth, the city brings a touch of home to the tourists. At Brisbane's exhibition ground, Queensland takes the field for their match against the Romans. Included in the Queensland lineup is 56 Olympian Graham McMillan and 18-years-old Ian Johnston, the baby of the side. There are also 2 Scots, an Englishman and 2 Welshmen. One of the state's largest soccer crowds witnessed Roma launch a confident attack from the kickoff. Tamburini's high pass, finding right winger Leonardi on the fringe of the goal square. A great chance for the Romans, but Kelly makes a fingertip save. Looking for an opening, Kelly sends Queensland away down the right flank. Unsettling their rivals in midfield, the visitors frequently exploit the open spaces, their pace shattering the defence as the Queenslanders desperately try to cover their man. But Roma's goal shooting is off target, giving their opponents a welcome reprieve. 4 of the Queenslanders are making their first appearance for the state, and although having enough of the ball to penetrate, they lack confidence in their finishing efforts. In contrast, Roma's passing is well directed, and with concise positional play, they spear through into rival territory to score a spectacular goal. Unable to maintain their attacks, Queensland forfeit possession. In full command of the ball, the Romans combine smoothly, engineering scoring opportunities. With a variation of pace and aggression, they move goalwards. Francesconi finds the net, giving Roma a half-time lead of 2-0, and it seems more goals are in the offing. Marshalling their forwards for a shock attack at the opening of the second half, Queensland make towards Roma's danger zone. Jackson spearheading the thrust, but again indecisive shooting gives Ginolfi plenty of time to save. Holding the ball for long periods, Roma are in control as they take over Queensland's domain. Striking rapidly, the Romans gain an unassailable advantage. With little hope of taking play away from the Romans, Queensland nevertheless battle on. Their task made easier at times by Enzo's ultra-cautious methods as he seeks to open his goal-scoring account in Australia. Crowding the defence, Benitez scores Roma's 4th goal. Enzo directs his passes effectively, but the Queenslanders are unflagging in their endeavours to stop the flow. Roma's domination is complete. Francesconi snapping yet another goal. Roma's corner kick gets the ball into position for a direct goal shot. Roma take the match 6-0, their biggest winning margin of the tour. Returning to Sydney, the tourists are taken on a harbour cruise aboard Impala, a luxurious cruiser owned by Australian Soccer Federation President Mr. W.G. Walkley. Off Bennelong Point, the party is intrigued by the city's famous unfinished landmark, the Opera House. Brazilian Ricardo da Silva finds steering a cruiser a lot different from steering a soccer ball, but his traveling companions appear to have confidence in him. Team Dr. Rossi and Sergio Carpanesi study the finer points of big game fishing before trying their hand. Maybe it's not quite the big game stuff, but Renato Benaglia and Julius Ree have a fair-sized one in tow. Liaison officer of the tour and West Australia's Federation president, Julius is as pleased as the cat who caught the canary. Back to Mother Earth for a spectacular training session. Heading practice. Ball control. Guido Massetti sharpens the goalkeepers. Skipping for wind and legs. Passing. They're ready for the Sydney Showground match against the powerful Australian combination. Weather-wise, it's the worst day of the year. Vincenzo Bianconi and team manager Frank Parsons lead the Romans and the Australians, respectively, across the flooded playing arena that's been subjected to 24 hours torrential rain and gale force winds. Conditions are hardly conducive to open play. Australia wins the toss and the Romans kick off. Capelli has the ball stolen from him by Campagna, who sends the Australians into immediate attack. Storming through, they force the Romans onto stern defence. Cudicini has problems trying to bounce the ball as it almost plugs in the extremely heavy ground. Finally clearing with a high, well-placed kick, Cudicini gives the visitors a chance to counter, but the Romans have trouble gauging the pace of the flooded surface. Benitez recovers to spearhead a drive towards the opposition goal. Leonardi's corner kick is swept away by the bustling Australians, who handle the conditions confidently. An early score under such adverse circumstances could spell victory in what is certain to prove a low-scoring game. Defence is at a premium. Accurate distribution giving Australia chances of peppering Roma's famed defences. But they're equal to the spirited challenge. Nuttall's header to Walsh near halfway is taken by the close-marking Romans. With their speed nullified, they find it difficult to break clear as the slower-footed Australians are able to match their pace. Possession fluctuates as both sides are constructive, although harassed in their approach work. Searching for loopholes in the defence, Roma attack constantly, and their acrobatic skills are not affected by the weather. An overhead scissors kick finds Francesconi for another raid in opposition territory. The defence drops back in keen anticipation to hold the tourists at bay. Well served by inside right Campagna, Australia burst through. Tempers are well controlled in the tough clash. Play being concentrated on the ball, not the man. Neither side can afford to take undue risks in an evenly matched game. De Silva has plenty of support as he progresses towards Australia's goal square. His shot is intercepted by Nuttall, who quickly clears the danger area. The home 11 penetrates stylishly, and opportunist striker Giacometti fires a long-range shot. It's too high. Roma occasionally find the open spaces, only to be met with competent resistance from 20-year-old World Cup keeper Bill Roth. Australia press on, Morrow beating Losi, but Cudicini saves. His clearance giving the tourists yet another chance to mount an attack. Closing in, Leonardi shoots, but it's wide. Holding possession but frustrated in their efforts to outwit the defence, Roma vary their methods as the absorbing tactical battle continues throughout a scoreless first half. And how the players will appreciate a spell. On the resumption, Australia break away in a promising raid to the opposition's 18-yard line. But the ground and slippery ball make good shooting difficult. Yet to defeat an overseas touring team since rejoining FIFA 4 years ago, Australia are hopeful of breaking through against Roma. But that's a tough assignment. An artistic defence combination, the visitors are cool-headed as they strive to keep their unbeaten tour record intact. Francesconi on a probing run. His shot is blocked by Rock, sparking off the most exciting sequence of the game. Australia run the ball out only to lose it again as their opponents maintain an increased tempo, frequently dashing down the centre to seriously tax the defence. With tension mounting, restraint tends to reach boiling point. Common sense prevails, and there's no harm done. Victorian referee Mr. Roger Lamb soon getting the fiery incident under control. A constant danger, Francesconi looms up again. His shot lacks power and is turned back by Roth. Bursting away in threatening fashion, Australia enters Roma's stronghold. The opposing defence is scattered as Morrow draws Cudicini. The right winger blasts in the opener to the uninhibited joy of his teammates. This could be Australia's day. Shocked by the goal, which the Romans claim was offside, they lose concentration before moving into attack. With victory in sight, the Australians capture the ball, endeavouring to take full advantage of the Romans' lapse. Accidental hands by Capelli, but employing the advantage rule, Mr. Lamb allows play to continue as Australia grimly strives to hold the initiative. They lose the ball as Tomasin heads a thrust towards halfway. Tomasin sends Tamburini down the centre, and Roma scores the equaliser in the closing minutes to draw the match 1-1. Refreshed and in good spirits after the game, players of both sides, officials and guests, enjoy the camaraderie of the official reception tended by WD and HO Wills in their showground pavilion. Cavalieri pays tribute to the standard of the game in Australia, the organisers and sponsors of the tour. Advertising Director of WD and HO Wills, Mr. W.S. Bengson, is presented with the AS Roma pennant and cup. Mr. Jim Bayuti and Mr. Frank Parsons supervise an interchange of gifts between the teams. Undoubtedly, Australian soccer is richer for the Romans' visit. For their part, the tourists also derive benefit as it's helped mould prospective champions like Fabio Enzo and Aldo Sensibili to the Roma pattern of play. And the code will be lastingly grateful to Wills for their part in promoting this truly international game.